You got it. All right, good morning. Happy Friday. Market's rocking and rolling on the news. Everything is rosy. And one of these days is going to break a prior day's low. We've been saying this for 2 weeks. Watch prior day's low, first reference point of support. And maybe today's a day, maybe not. Getting a gap up here. And the S&Ps, well, I've got this red zone here just as far as 4,700 to see as a whole number area that if it hits that and backs off. Some markets backing off a little bit already. I guess the good thing is, as far as SPX goes, is that yesterday pretty much was just, well, was it overnight? Yesterday was pretty much sideways. So again, prior day's low, first reference point of support, prior day's low is 46.50. Well, it's a good number. Last I looked on spreads, SPX. Well, let me go to SPY first, because that moves pre-market. 469. Well, 470 is a little far away. I don't know if it'll get there or not. So far, this is holding up pretty darn well. So let's go to SPX. Let's see here. $469. Always the chance of a gap and crap here. So 470's got a huge open interest in it up there. And you can go to 47.30, whether you want to wait for, a 5-minute low to break. They'll move those premiums relatively quickly. Well, let's see what happens here. I mean, it's had a run, McGraw, and gapping up in that area. It seems likely, or more common sense, that Friday morning, this move here, gapping up 4,700, big number. So even if it gaps up and craps up here, we go back to what we've been talking about, every morning, prior day's low. So even if it gaps up and comes in here, and let's say the selling pressure stays on, your first support point, is going to be the gap fill. And as I was saying yesterday, being a consolidation day, you've got a relatively large area of price support where pivot low, and a little run up in there into the close when it didn't roll over. So going down to 46.50 is what I got written down here. It's pretty far away. So we really don't have reason to think that markets are going to collapse here. It's just going that far down. Let me just take a second look. Yeah. 40 by 50. You want to go 46.55 and get a little bit more. But that, again, how far away is it? Where are your lines of defense? And, so coming in down into the top of the range, of course, and then if it starts to eat through it, that's where it starts to get dangerous. That if it gets through this area here. So it's like we don't know what'll happen. We just monitor and see how the reaction is. And now that it's going to get to a pretty stiff area up there. Well, look, yeah, of course they'll keep buying them, Trader. I mean, McGraw, as long as it keeps going up. And you know as well as I do that if there is a significant turn day, they'll start flipping to the other side, and those premiums will pop on the downside. So we'll see. Right now, we'll see what it does there at 4,700. Just like we watched what it'll do at 4,650, and as it came up here and went sideways, you monitor and. On a day-to-day basis, our prior day's low was our first reference point of support. There are no pivots. Right? Do I have the pivot thing on here? Should that be a pivot? No, I got it. So this move up has created no pivot lows, which just is another way of recognizing the strength of this trend is that it doesn't pivot, meaning higher lows to the left and right. And so this was kind of a continuation pattern right there, which we talked about at that time when the internals got to an extreme and it's tried to pull back, but it just went sideways and corrected for, I guess, around 4 days or so. Now, there's been a lot of call buying recently, and you can see that moving average has moved up in between the upper bands and above 0.80. And interestingly, you can see breadth has been, it's still up here, which is good. But I was surprised to see yesterday that it was actually a negative number. And it could be just because it went sideways all day and not much happened. So I don't know, not what you want to see as markets are moving up as these are. That breadth is actually negative on a day that on an up day, but things moved in the morning and then nothing happened pretty much all afternoon until it closed, or there was a spurt of buying. So common sense tells us as this keeps going up, you can only do it for so long until you're going to have some type of a retracement. All right. Q's been doing the same thing, marching ahead, hitting 400 up there. You can see pre-market, it got above it and then came in pretty hard. So it was quite a bit of selling there. And you can see as things run, as these did, or anything does, where it's a vertical type of a move, and even on a 5-minute chart, where it moves up bar after bar after bar, not breaking a prior bar's low, no consolidations, no pivots, nothing to the left to stop it. And as it starts to pull back, there's just nothing to trade against. And, the acceleration of that move creates that void. And then, climactic sell set up on a short-term basis. And it comes down to support. You look to the left, and there's where buyers are again. And there was the news as it whipped back and forth again. So mark off 395, set an alert. Just be aware. Where that is, and starts coming in, maybe not paying attention to it. Futures, a little slowing momentum candle there. Same type of pullback, little cleaner, since obviously more active pre-market. Yeah, Russell coming in a little bit. Again, when things move like this, they're just likely to come back in, too far, too fast versus a more controlled type of advance. And this is bullish how it pulls back like that, just kind of drifting back down toward the 20 MA and the prior pivot high. And the news comes out, and so straight up, nothing below it, comes back in. Dow. Just keep moving it along. And so this is holding up relatively well, considering that it went straight up, so showing some relative strength compared to the Russell. You see, well, straight up on one bar, and it's coming in, and well, that one straight up on one bar and kind of drifted a little bit and just hanging up there. All right, so the weekly charts, and you can see multiple weeks in a row, taking out the high, and so from a longer term perspective, we do the same thing. Let me just copy that, go over here. And so what we'll do now is, let's assume next week starts to correct a bit and it breaks a prior bar's low. Well, I'm going to, from a intermediate term perspective, well, what happens on the weekly time frame? And go step by step. If this starts to pull back, we say, okay, that's a buying opportunity, as long as it doesn't come all the way back here, which it's a possibility as things go up, further they go up, it's a greater possibility and probability that you're going to get a red bar. But a red bar doesn't break a trend. So we'll see if that happens next week. And transports continue to march ahead. Now, IYT, I mentioned yesterday, they had a different number of stocks than the cash. They got more than 20 stocks in there. So this is moving up toward that high. You got to keep an eye on that because this just, it's almost useless because of that stock car. And it spiked up and now, and so using IYT going to be more beneficial for observing that. Gold, kind of waiting in the wings there for something. It just continues to whip back and forth. And silver, I think, might be worth the position. Let's see if it, I'm going to keep an eye on this today and see if this can hold up here. So we still have this pullback here and it looks better than gold. And oil. Remember yesterday, this was up here. It was looked like a turn day and it gave it all back. I wasn't watching that intraday, but gave it all back. It was a big green bar yesterday. So that looks like it's going to correct further, which suggests that oil stocks are going to correct further. You can see things run up like these have. Momentum stalls and it's correcting and looks like it might pull back to around 76 or so before buyers are willing to step up again here again. All right, so that's look, new all-time highs again, gapping up. Going into the day here, so far S&P is not showing any significant weakness. Maybe they're going to grind up and they'll hit 4,700. I don't think so. That's pretty far away, but hey, let's see. It's not showing any weakness even on a 5-minute chart here. It's just really slow here pre-market. So we'll just see if it grinds up there. And as this moves up toward that same area, it's got less than a point to go. And we've got 10 minutes. So we'll see. Gapping up there. Let's see if sellers come in and take it back down. All yours, Dan.
Good morning. Yeah, it looks like they're partying like it's 1999. And I don't know if Greg mentioned the impetus or not, but it's, yeah, we had employment numbers, which the market's all excited about too. That's what got that perk right there. But what caused the gap up? Yeah, McGraw, right. Gottlieb was on CNBC, that other doctor. Um, and yeah, he kind of came, yeah, he pretty much came out and said the pandemic's over because of what fiber came up with. So that was this original gap up, and it was from an end of day base. Well, that's not a textbook one, but um, I said into the close that this was the biggest green bar all day long, and it looked like panic buying into the close. And I can only guess maybe some smart money knew that, because to be buying into the close like that after this much, you're surely not worried about anything, are you? So Pfizer here, $48, gapping way up here, and that's obviously hurting the competitors. Hey, do y'all remember yesterday on Myrna? It gapped down, that was a huge gap, and it's a bio, and puts were extremely expensive. But I think I said 3 or 4 times my first target was 250. Look at that. It's exceeding it in one day. That weekly sure looked lower. Sell setup, price void. Look at the Kraken. Yeah, Merck's getting hurt. Absolutely. 81.36. Yeah, that's nasty. I don't, you would have to go back a couple years, is my guess, to see such an ugly crack in big old drug stock like that. Raoul, CCJ.
Crazy part is you just don't see these kind of reactions historically where such strength evaporates overnight.
Such strength? I thought you were going to say the opposite.
Well, no, like, I mean, Merck went up, like, it had gapped up on some news, and then it pulled back, filled the gap. And it goes from what, 77 or so to 90. And then the next, and it gaps down to 81.
Oh, that's
I mean, it's like a minefield out here.
Tell me about it. I know that's not great. CCJ looks great. So 1, 2, 3, right at the prior high. It's actually looks like an inside day, so that would make it even better if we had a second inside day. But the theme also, with Corona supposedly being over, it's going to be reopening stocks again. Travel stocks are hot as heck today. Hilton, we have 2 positions on in this. Hilton looks great. UAL, we have a put spread expiring today. Wow, that's gapping up to this prior high now. Now it was Monday. We nailed this sector. We got in on this bar on a couple of airlines. But that sector is going to be doing well. Look at Expedia here, gapping over that. Not only is it gapping over this ugly red bar, it's a good gapping over the whole month's high. There's another minefield for you, Greg. Man. So Boeing, we have a put spread. So, that's part of the tourism trade. We're 100% bullish positions right now. Just glancing at opens, the only one, well, let's see, the biggest problem child is Zoom. We have a out of the money put spread. And, this is opposite of the reopening trade, which is getting hurt by that news. Piton is also, remember, was a stay-at-home trade. People not going to the gym. They had earnings, and that is getting whacked. Look at that. I got to look at my weekly charts. I don't know. I don't know where it's going to stop. I mean, it could easily fall to $50, but we'll keep an eye on it. But it was, I had square bottom right here, and it negated the bear gap, so that's off my list. Negated the gap down. So I was looking at that as a 0 DTE call spread. I have Carvana, a 0 DTE call spread. Nice, bearish gap here. If we can get a 302 or something like that. Thomas floor. It's just not, there's no quality setup there, Thomas. Your quality trade was this 1, 2, 3. You've been hearing me say the last few days, we'll still trade bullish patterns, but it's not going to be things that are vertical like the broader markets. It's going to be individual stocks. So that I'll still trade something bullish, but that one was not good enough for me. Thomas, I don't know if you're saying good morning or GM. There's also, Thomas, there's no pattern. Yesterday was a power bar, but remember, everything has to start with, well, tell me what the pattern is called, based on what we teach. There's no pattern. You might say, well, Dan, it's a breakout. Well, okay, but do we buy breakouts from the bottom of the range to the top? If you're trading the weekly as a 180 reversal, then I'd say, fine, stop the week's low. Do you want to stop way the heck down here? Fast alarm. So we are in this, getting a nice gap. I'll put that in the window. I had tightened the stop already pre-market to under this bottoming tail right here on the 15. Airbnb, we were wanting to do a debit spread into earnings because this is a beautiful ascending triangle. And the spreads were wide and it was really expensive. So I opted for a 160 naked put. And so that's getting a nice gap up, Airbnb. I read in the journal, or somewhere, whatever, I think it said they had 79 million bookings. That's a pretty good business. The whole industry of sharing, right? That's Uber, talking about Uber, they had earnings too. So the whole sharing, the gig economy, even Fiverr, doing things online. But there's no pattern here in Uber. It's a mess. There's no pattern. Yeah, net is on the earnings list. Yeah. I already went through the list and deleted a lot, but remember D-Dog? We traded D-Dog right on this beautiful breakout right here. And now it's gapping all-time highs, but it's gapping $25. I have no idea what to do with that. 0 DTE day, so let's all be on the lookout for those type of trades. We tried, well, Tesla didn't have enough juice, but look, he's not gapping up. So Tesla, maybe 10-minute low. Let's do a 0 DTE call spread. We tried doing Amazon, but I posted the wrong strike and we didn't get filled. But here's another one that's not bouncing. It's actually relative weakness. And then we did NVIDIA. We did a call spread yesterday, gapping up a little bit, but it doesn't matter. We did the 350s. This looks like maybe an ad. So that still looks good. All right, let me continue here. So yeah, there's Myrna. Fat B. This looks like a Reddit boy toy. Wow, they are whipping this thing around. $8 to 26. Wow. Car, that was quite a short squeeze. That looks like a day trade short. I'm gonna have 15-minute chart. John, we're already in it, so I don't know what your question is. Yeah, we talked about that already, about the hotel and hotels and leisure stocks and jets and all that. UAL, we already talked about. I said, let the put expire, worthless. 29.75. So this is a red bar ignore. Do you know, you know that picture that we have of 9 bullish patterns? So this is a pattern of failed sell setup and red bar ignore continuation. So that, and it has a price swing. So this, my target would be like 31.50. Wow, 1300 tick. Yeah, Netflix. Yeah, it's a call spread. Yeah, David. Hey, David, welcome. Yeah, Greg, remember David? He was with us for a while, and then I think he was making movies or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, David. So go through the checklist. I know it's not earnings. I know it's tight. So all I really need to know, David, is give me the suggested strikes and what the premium is. That's all I need to know. Like I said, Tesla is 10-minute low. We'll just look at the premiums and see how far we can get. T-Doc.